My name is Sasha Ayad, and I'm a licensed professional counselor working with young people and adolescents who struggle with gender. Today is March 12th. It's Detransition Awareness Day. And detransitioners are a group of people with a variety of experiences that we don't know much about in the literature yet. But detransition is what happens when a person seeks out some kind of medical transition to try to change the appearance of their sex or gender, and then stop those interventions or try to reverse course. Now, what we do know from the little research we have is that detransitioners sought a medical transition for a couple of key reasons. They often wanted to be perceived as a different gender or sex, they felt wrong in their bodies, and they felt like transition was the only option to feel better. Many of them even described feeling uncomfortable being sexualized in their natal sex. Now, when we look at the detransition experiences, a couple of themes also show up as for why people chose to detransition. Many detransitioners found new ways to define words like man and woman that were more flexible and allowed them to feel more comfortable identifying with their natal sex. Many detransitioners were also worried about medical complications and negative side effects from transition. Some also report that transition didn't really help alleviate their dysphoria or other psychological issues. Many said that the changes they experienced were too drastic or they didn't feel satisfied with them. And they found that their gender dysphoria was actually related to other issues that were better served by psychological or social support. Things like trauma, childhood abuse, or other mental health problems. When I started doing work around gender identity in 2016, there were really only a handful of individuals speaking about their experiences with detransition, maybe 5 or 6 people. And now you go on forums like Reddit and there are 25,000 members talking about their experiences there. Now, of course, not all of them are necessarily people who have detransitioned, but if you go online and start searching, you will see detransition stories everywhere, and they're becoming more and more prevalent. Even though this is a population that has not really been noticed or paid attention to much, I'm really pleased to say that detransitioners are starting to become more visible. They've been sharing their experiences in places like The Atlantic and even on CBS's 60 Minutes program. Journalists willing to tell these important stories include people like Jesse Singal, Katie Herzog, Abigail Schreier, and Helen Joyce. And these stories are really important, not just for clinicians like me who work with gender dysphoria, but for all of us. Because if we can really grapple with what these experiences mean, we can improve things like screenings, mental health care, medical care, and overall support for people who are questioning their gender. If we really grapple with detransition stories, we might be able to identify what some of the root causes are that might lie behind somebody's gender dysphoria or desire to transition medically. So thank you for watching on March 12th, Detransition Awareness Day.